Next topic, which is, it's war, okay. Which one though? Because we haven't gone more than 6 years without being in at least one war, and we're currently in several. Okay, yeah, here's a war. After an alleged chemical attack on civilians by the Syrian government, President Trump announced he was going to send some missiles over, and then did that. And the majority of the mainstream media took a break from hating the president to say, all right, war stuff. Which brings us to an installment of Deja News. Can the president weigh in on this? Oh, he has in 2013 when he tweeted, "What will we get for bombing Syria besides more debt and a possible long-term conflict? Obama needs congressional approval." True, and you didn't get it. But could you add something like, "We should stop talking, stay out of Syria and other countries that hate us"? Like, maybe because interventionism and imperialism historically makes things worse and fosters terrorism, and airstrikes against a government cause civilians to side with their government. Or also you could add, "What I am saying is stay out of Syria." Cool, right on, right on. This he said, he also said situation isn't new or surprising. The president is consistently inconsistent with what he believes and is a well-documented liar. He says he has one of the great memories of all time, but when under oath constantly says he can't remember things. And when he's told that in the past he's claimed to have the best memory, he says he doesn't remember saying that. So he probably doesn't remember anything he's ever said about any of our wars. Like, you know how we're in a war with Afghanistan that's old enough to drive and almost old enough to f anyone over 18? Well, it's a war, and after 9/11, but before President George W. Bush, a war criminal, lied to start a war that killed, lots. And well, in between that, Osama bin Laden, the Saudi-born millionaire and founder of the Saudi Arabia-funded organization that carried out a massive attack by a majority Saudi terrorists, he hid in Afghanistan. And we were like, hey, give him here, he did 9/11. And they were like, show us evidence. And so we did a war for 10 years, and 10 years passed. And America then killed bin Laden in his life. The war continued. 10 months passed, and Donald Trump vlogged for a minute about how we have to get out of Afghanistan. Unfortunately, since becoming president, Donald Trump, has deleted all of his old vlogs from his YouTube channel. More than 90 minutes of dozens of vlogs gone. Except I downloaded all of them. Take it away, Mr. President.
Afghanistan is a total and complete disaster. Let's get with it. Get out of Afghanistan.
And one more time for the tiny people in my ear.
Get out of Afghanistan.
Agree.
Agree.
Here's some news. President Trump is sending thousands of more troops into Afghanistan. So, okay, maybe Trump just has changes of heart, constantly, about everything and everybody. But in this case, he didn't want to get involved in other countries and do wars, and he regularly said it's silly to announce to countries what your military is going to do. But after a chemical weapons attack, he decided he wanted to announce on Twitter to Syria and Russia that missiles are coming, so get ready. Wonder why he'd want to warn the guy who he conspicuously helps and avoids bothering at all costs. But anyway, he changed his mind. And maybe he isn't trying to get us into a war or start the successful process of American interventionism and regime change because he knows that war is one of the few things that gets bipartisan and mainstream media support. Maybe he legitimately does just want to send airstrikes to Syria once a year for humanitarian reasons. And if this is really a humanitarian effort, I guess, is it? Bombing some empty buildings once a year? Humanitarian might be accepting more than 11 Syrian refugees this year, sending aid and rescue, food, things humans need. Is sending missiles once a year humanitarian? After this chemical weapons attack in particular, or the several earlier this year, or the 11 last year, or the 100,000 civilians who've been killed by regular weapons, or I don't know, there's a genocide in Myanmar, there's famine and war and death in Yemen, and the US is disturbingly complicit in it, aiding and selling arms to Saudi Arabia, who commits war crimes there. So humanitarian-wise, I don't know, Puerto Rico's a part of our country, and it's still really struggling. As of this taping, it was completely out of power again. Maybe we need to expand our view of humanitarian and Department of Defense and trillions of dollars spent on weapons to include more aid and rescue, and maybe get some practice for when all of these terrible storms keep continuing to get worse, and you know, the fires and rising oceans and so forth. But let's hear what the president has to say about humanitarian efforts. And we can even ignore his history of promoting torture and supporting taking out terrorist families, and his lamenting of how some of his drone strikes didn't take out the terrorist families. So let's go to his vlog instead, because despite regularly insisting that he never suggested the US get involved in Libya, he did vlog about it when it happened, and deleted the vlog. And here's that vlog.
We should do, on a humanitarian basis, immediately go into Libya, knock this guy out very quickly, very surgically, very effectively, and save the lives. After it's all done, we go to the protesters who end up running the country. They're going to like us a lot better than they will if we don't do it. More importantly, we're going to save lives. And we should then say, by the way, from all of your oil, we want reimbursement.
Because the president thinks that it's a humanitarian cause to intervene in a country's civil war for the purposes of regime change and to help the people on a humanitarian basis so we can then take half of their oil. Good use of words, Mr. President.
I know words. I have the best words.
Okay, but I don't want to be biased and knock the idea of using false pretenses to start wars to gain resources and profit, because here at Cody's Shody, we're fair and balanced, TMCR. So let's check in with the hashtag resistance to see what they have to say about lying to start a war.
Baghdad has failed to disarm its weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, dang. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching that video about all that stuff. If you liked it, like, subscribe, comment, all the YouTube things. We have a podcast called Even More News on iTunes and Google Play. And if you want more of these videos more often, support us on Patreon. The link is in the description. There's so many things in the description. Check it out. Aw.